And the Titan Bros are back from our 2 or 3 month vacation. And by that, I mean we just didn't make videos because I was going to say not morally. Let's just say our energy levels when it comes to the Titans have been kind of.
Yes, but you can also say that those are a lot of stuff, family stuff, and job stuff that's been changing and has been going on in my life personally. And I did tell you that it's gonna be a while until I'll be able to make a video, and you said, "Yeah, that's fine." And now we're back at it because things are coming back down and looking good. So I'll be able to focus more on this because I again had some stuff that was happening that kind of put sports on the back burner, but now I'm ready to go.
Here's to hoping, and the word I was looking for was morale, not morality. That's what I was accidentally saying. Our morale as Titan fans are just kind of
that's half true too. What is it?
It's kind of moving to melancholy levels. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a semi-quick, and we never do anything quick. Every time we're going to do something quick, it turns out to be 20 minutes on whatever that quick thing's supposed to be. We're going to try to do a quick breakdown of free agency, and then we're going to have to do a preview of what we think's going to happen with the draft, which is 5 days away, or 6 days away, because it's Friday today as of recording, and it's this coming Thursday. It's week 1 of the draft. So actually, literally a week from right now, we'll be in the middle of the 2nd/3rd round. So that's kind of exciting, I guess. But anyways, we're just going to hop right on into some of these additions when it comes to free agency. First of all, we brought back Nick Westbrook, Akina, and Corey Levin. To me, these people aren't moving the chains one way or another. I guess it's good to have people on veteran minimum deals that can just come in and know what's going on. But I don't think that should change the way we draft or do anything else.
I agree. Don't want Levin to really play much at all. If he's playing, that's an issue. With Westbrook and Keeney, what I say about him is it depends on where you pencil him in if you like him or not. Like last year, he was playing way too much number 1 and number 2 for us, and he's not good in that spot. If you keep him at number 4 receiver, I'm okay with that. I think he's a fine number 4. If we can have the depth as a receiver that's where he's at, I'm okay with that. Then that's a good pickup. That's a good keep, I guess.
I agree. At number 4 / special teamers, because his first 2 seasons in the NFL, he was really good special teamer.
Yeah.
But he's just been not working his way up the wide receiver depth chart because he's just killing it, but because everyone else is getting killed and he has to take the field. Yes. So yeah, he's good number 4, and I'm okay with Treylon Burks being number 1. We need a 2 and 3 where Nick Westbrook-Akina is just rotating when someone's tired, in my humble opinion. So those are just like C+ moves. I'm just like, it's fine. Next on the list, we just signed him 2 days ago, I think. Chris Moore, free agent wide receiver, and I'll be honest with you, until we brought him in for a visit a week or so ago, I'd never even heard of him. But I'm not happy with it. It's a minimum contract, veteran minimum contract. He just had a career high in yards. He had 539 yards or something like that, which means he would have been our leading wide receiver last year. But we got him from the Texans. But the issue that I have with him is I think he only has like 1,300 career yards, and 500 of those came just last year. He's like Mike Vrabel's been trying to preach this whole offseason. We need to get younger and we need to get faster. And this dude, when the season starts, is going to be 30, and he only ran like a 4.5 in college. So
he's not with either of that.
No, he's not.
No, I wasn't really excited about the pickup either.
Yeah, I just don't feel like this checks any of the boxes that we need, because I do agree we need to get younger. We do. I would say,
to be honest, yeah, I agree 100% with what Vrabel said, but we got to do it. We can't say that and then pick up a 30-year-old who's slow,
It's like we need to get younger, we need to get faster. Let's bring back Nick Westbrook-Akina. Let's get Chris Moore in here. We're going to go time, okay? It doesn't make sense. Now, here's one guy I'll admit with you, I have no idea what anything about. Trevin Wesco. I think he was a tight end from the Jets we got. I think he's just a blocking tight end. He's just going to be a Jeff Swaim replacement, which, you know what? I'm going to give that a B- or something, because I didn't think Jeff Swaim was good. He was a liability in the passing game, and I don't think he could block that well.
I agree. He was a terrible just blocking tight end. He was. And if we could get ourselves a tight end that can block, I'm okay with that. Because as much as I like the what's his name from Maryland, the rookie last year.
Chigokonkwo.
Yes, as much as I like him, he still has ways to go to improving his blocking. So we do need a nice blocking tight end, if you ask me. So I don't mind that pickup as long as he can block. Because, like you said, Jeff Swain wasn't too good at that.
Yeah, because for now, hopefully we don't have any draft night surprises like last year. But for now, Derrick Henry's still on our team. So we're still going to run the ball a decent bit. So we need some tight ends that can block. So I'm like B-, mostly because it would be just like a C, but because it basically means Jeff Swain's not coming back. The fact that J-Rob signed him for $3.5 million last year was just insane. All right, the next one I'm going to bring up is Luke Gifford, special teams guy. I'll be honest with you, special teams are important, but I feel like our special teams have been so bad for so long, I try not to think about special teams.
Yeah. I would say that's, again, something that doesn't get you excited. If he can play it well, then great, but I feel like we have so many holes that it's hard to get excited about a special team person.
Yeah. Here's our first big name signing, and honestly, by far, who we gave the most of the money to this free agency, and that would be Andre Dillard. It's an interesting case study here because he was a first-round pick for the Eagles, and he never really got benched. He struggled with some injuries, and then the 1 year, I feel like he broke something in his forearm, I think is what it was. He broke something in his forearm, and they had I think it's like a 7th-round rookie play for him that year, who turned out to be really good for the Eagles. And his name's escaping me. I can't remember what it is. But anyways, it's the Eagles tackle. He's really good. Both their tackles are good. But so when Andre Dillard eventually got healthy, he just wasn't going to bump this guy off his job because the guy who replaced him's good. So he just kind of was their number 3 swing tackle, who played pretty decent spots last year when he was able to come in for him when he was injured. I still can't remember the guy's name. Shame on me. But at first, I don't like the looks of this contract. It's a 3-year, $29 million. So basically, it's 3 years, $10 million a year. Basically, is what his contract is. But the way it's built is it's basically a 1 year. There's almost no dead money. So like if we have him for 1 year, $10 million basically, and if he doesn't turn out to be anything, we can just give him the old axe. Sorry. Got anything you want to say about Mr. Andre Dillard, who's right now slated to be our starting left tackle?
It's one of the things that we needed to address that, so I guess I don't blame them to pick him up. Hopefully he can be a sneaky good signing and he can do something well for us. And because, like you said, he kind of, because the guy who replaced him when he got hurt did so well is why he's gone. But I'm just tired of us going into the offseason. I mean, into a season with people. I'm like, man, most of you people won't be starting on another team. Hopefully, Dillard is not like that. We'll see though when the season starts.
Yeah, we will. Here's my thing. I think he's not as good as Taylor Lewan, but he can't be worse than.
No, he can't. You couldn't be worse than Daly. So it is nice. It's nice to know that he's not part of this team anymore.
Yeah, the fact that the Cardinals gave him a 2-year deal is beyond me.
How has he still got a contract? That shocks me.
For multiple years. I'll give that one a B-. It is what you're going to notice on a lot of these is he gave several people a chance for a bigger role, where it's like they were solid as a role player in their old team, and now he's basically bringing them in to see if they can become a starter with bigger role. If that makes any sense. I think Andre Dillard is one of those people. Okay, next one, Sean Murphy Bunting from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was a cornerback. And everything I've heard from him, he's got long range. He's pretty quick. I know the year they won the Super Bowl, he got 3 interceptions in the playoff run, just the playoffs. 3 interceptions. He seems like he's solid. And honestly, he could end up being a starting outside corner because it's going to be Fulton on the outside. If they choose to bump Roger McCreary in, I highly doubt Caleb Farley wins the starting job. So it's probably going to be a starter. So I'll give that one a B plus. It's only like a $5 million contract, so it's cheap, and he's probably going to be slated to be a starter. So I'm down with that one.
I am too. We needed that. It sucks, but I think you and I both admit that Caleb Farley, I think we're giving up that he's not going to be good, which that's another bad first-round pick by Don Robertson, but he's not going to work out. So we needed this, and it's a really good signing if he can be decent, because $5 million a year is pretty good. So if he can be decent, this is not a bad thing to do. Yeah, because if he's decent, we got Roger on the inside, and if Fulton can stay healthy and he's on the outside, that's to me a pretty good tandem right there.
Yeah, I'll take it. I will take it. We still need to get more depth there because cornerbacks, especially Christian Fulton, get hurt a lot. So there's definitely need to get some more. Nothing else, just to get some bodies in there. So I don't really feel like we have many people on our roster. We'll go ahead and go to the next one. Arden Key. He's one of the most interesting ones. He played for the Jags last year. The year before that, it was the 49ers. And he's one of those people who's done good as a role player, but now he gets to step up in a bigger role.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have something stuck in my throat. So he's interesting. I watched his press conference with the Titans like a month back, and he's very high energy, animated kind of guy. And he's excited to bring the energy, that's what they call it. I think a lot of people call him juice. So like he's always hyped up and psyched and ready to go. He looked like he'd be a solid piece because I don't think Rashad Weaver's ready to step in as just a full starter, because he started off decent last year, but I feel like by the end of the year, Rashad Weaver just kind of
which is disappointing. I had high hopes for him.
I did too, but in the end, he was a 4th-round pick, so I guess if you get a role player as a 4th-round pick, that's fine. But I think him and Arden Key. Let me put it this way: I think Arden Key is going to be better than Bud Dupree. Because let's be honest, Bud Dupree was not good for us. He didn't play much, and when he did, he wasn't that.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. That was I called that when we signed him. Day one, like, he is overpaid, and I think we're gonna regret this. And I was correct. I just want to call that out.
Good job. Good job. Sorry, my son's showing me his high score in his game. Bud Dupree, and the fact that the Falcons got him for cheap. Did you see how much the Falcons got him?
I did, and I forgot what it was.
$5 million. So we were slated to pay 20.
He got 5.
And he got 5. So shows that he was definitely overpaid. So mommy. Sorry, I keep getting talked to by my child. But anyways, so Arden Key, I like that one. I'm going to give it a solid B. It's a 3-year, $21 million. It's about $7 million a year. It's good. I'll take it.
I'll take it. But the thing is, I feel like
$20 million to Bud Dupree.
Yeah, I agree. But I feel like the problem with a lot of the people we got was cheap contracts for people like I think they might be solid at best. But sadly, nothing knocked us over to be in a deep playoff team by what we did in free agency.
I mean, I agree. The problem is we didn't have any money. We just didn't have any money. So I think we did a good job bringing in people for not having any money. The last 3 were my favorite 3. The one that we just did in the next 2 here. Daniel Brunskill. He was I was going to say a guard, but he's played all 5 positions on the offensive line. He played most of his career, I believe it's most of his career, with the 49ers. He's probably going to be our right guard. And what I like about his contracts, I think we were only paying him, I think it's like $2 million. Like $2 million. And he's a lot like Nate Davis, but switched. Nate Davis was a good run blocker, kind of poor pass blocker. Daniel Brunskill is supposed to be switched. He's supposed to be a good pass blocker, but his run blocking is not as good as his pass blocking. But like, he's 29 years old. He's got a lot of starts under his belt, played all over the place. I think that honestly could be our best signing because if you're getting a starting offensive lineman for like right at $2 million, I think that's a good thing. So, so I'd give that a B plus. That's probably our best signing.
Yeah, we need offensive line help, and that was for what the money we had. That was good, bang for your buck, there. And I'll take it. But we'll see. And again, we needed to protect Ryan Tannehill, so I'm glad that he's pretty decent at pass blocking. But at the same time, it was also frustrating when we gave it to Derrick Henry how he would be getting hit behind the line. So he may not help in that department.
Of course, Nate Davis also missed some time. 2 or 3 of his years, he missed a couple games.
Yeah.
But Nate Davis got paid $30 million, 3 years, $30 million. So basically, we're replacing Nate Davis, but instead of paying him $10 million a year, we're paying him 2-ish. So I think that's a good bargain there. Last free agent we'll go over is Azeez al-Shaair, and that is how it's pronounced because it looks weird. But I heard a video of him saying his name. It's Azeez, which that's pretty self-explanatory. Then the AL would be Al, so that's also self-explanatory. But his last name is Shaair, but it's Shire. So just think like Lord of the Rings, the Shire, the hobbits are from. So Azeez al-Shaair, he's the one I kind of like the most because him or Daniel Brunskill. Because if you watch that guy's tape, he reminds me a lot of David Long, but he's not injury prone. So, and we're paying him about the same as much as David Long is going to make for the Dolphins. He's only making like $11 million for 2 years. Azeez al-Shaair's is a 1-year deal, but it's $5.5 million. So basically, we're just trading out player for player, but durability here. Plus, al-Shaair, he was kind of not technically a starter, but they played a lot of positions where they'd have 3 inside linebackers on the field, and he'd get plenty snaps and starting time and whatnot. And I watched his interview as well as press conference, and he was very, very level-headed and calm. So I like that one as well. I'd give it a B plus.
Yeah, I like David Long, so I hated to see him go. But again, basically we lost everybody, and we kind of replaced a lot of the people we lost. Again, nothing to make me get excited about to say that we're going to be much better than we were last year, but we replaced everyone we lost. I guess that's good.
Yeah, I agree. Can you hear my music or the music in the background?
I hear something. Is that music? I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. Hey, Caleb, can you turn that down a little bit? Okay, sorry. Now, here's what we're going to do way too rushed of a job of we kind of have some time restraints going on this evening of the draft, which is less than a week away. So I want us to rank our top 3 positions and then what we think or what we want, basically. I think I'm going to go with my top 3 positions. I think it is, I don't know where to put this position. I guess I'll put it at number 3. Quarterback at number 3. But maybe number 1, depending on how the draft shakes out. But number 3. Number 2 would be offensive line, and number 1 is wide receiver. Because even though we've done things at offensive line, like bringing in Daniel Brunskill to replace Nate Davis, bringing in Andre Dillard, which is obviously an upgrade over Dennis Daly, we didn't do squat to help wide receiver. Chris Moore doesn't count. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine doesn't count. So wide receiver is our biggest need, in my opinion.
We was a joke on receiver last year. We really was.
And we're no better. Like Robert Woods was garbage for us, but Robert Woods was technically our leading receiver in both receptions and yards. Yeah. So,
which is actually kind of sad that we were such a joke in such an important position, and we haven't done nothing to fix that. Besides Moore, but again, he doesn't really fix nothing.
Yeah, in my opinion, we need multiple wide receivers, and I don't mean like one in the second and one in the sixth. I mean like if Titans went out and drafted one in the second and third round, I'd be okay with that.
I agree. The only thing I will say is we don't know exactly what we have in Kyle Phillips. And what was the receiver who got hurt in preseason?
Tracy McMath.
Yes. And we don't know what we have in those two. And maybe that's what they're thinking. But I still agree with you. Let's get more talent. Let's get more receiver talent to throw it out. Because I think receiving, it doesn't hurt to have too much talent. It doesn't, especially in today's NFL. You can't have too many good receivers.
You really can't. You really can't. Now, as far as these three positions, I'll tell you who I want the most. With wide receiver, if we can trade back to about 15, I don't remember, it's Quentin or Quinnen. I can't remember if it's Williams or Johnson. Johnson. I think it's Johnson. I would like him at like pick 15 or 16 if we decided to trade back a little bit. If we stuck at pick 11 and picked, I would honestly be okay with Jackson Smith and Jigma. The only problem with us picking him up is he is a mostly slot wide receiver.
You talking about Jackson Smith? And how do you pronounce that last name?
Jigma. Yeah, Jigma. Yeah, he's mostly slot, even though they were asking Vrabel at Ohio State Pro Day, and he was saying he thinks Jackson Smith and Jigba can play inside and outside. So, which I'd be okay with that. But that would be who my pick would be. Here's my biggest issue. I think wide receivers are our biggest need, but at the same time, I don't know if picking a wide receiver at 11 is the best idea. You know what I mean? Like, that's high to not have, like, elite wide receiver.
So that's what they're saying today. This NFL don't have elite receiver. That's what.
Yeah, you can get some really good wide receivers in the second and the third round and things like that. But as far as, like, high-end, like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and people like that, there's not really anybody like that.
That kind of sucks because this would be a good draft if there was someone like that with that 11th pick to get someone like that. Yeah. So that does suck because that changes a little bit. You know, I agree with that 11th pick. I would say get a receiver, a good one to pair with Traylon Burks. But if there isn't one, then maybe you go. It's not gonna sound very flashy, but maybe you go with a tackle. I know technically we have both. We just got Dillon and everything, but I still think maybe you could get a nice starting, good young talent. Who's our other tackle?
Can't remember how to pronounce his name. Nicholas Petit-Frere.
Oh yeah. The verdict's still out for me on that one of what I think of him.
I thought he started off solid and it kind of started.
Yes, I agree because at one point I was like, oh, look like we're good in that spot, and then he kind of just season went on.
And we didn't look good in that spot.
Yeah.
I'll move to the next position, and it's the safest pick, but the most boring. When I'm thinking about all the holes we have and how horrible our wide receivers are. But Paris Johnson Jr. just looks like he's going to be a stud left tackle.
Is that who you think we should get?
Yeah, that's what most people saying is probably the best. They saying like the least risky was, I think, Peter Skoronski, but there's more upside. People are saying to Paris Johnson Jr., which it wouldn't surprise me if that's what we do. But there's also some offensive needy teams who are picking, like the Bears are picking at like 9, need some O-line help, so they might take him in front of him. But that's probably who I would have to go with, Paris Johnson Jr. if we stuck and picked at pick 11.
It's one of those things that's not very something you want to talk about the all offseason. Oh yeah, we got ourselves a tackle. I wouldn't be upset if we did it. It's just the only thing that bothers me is, and I don't think it would hold us to get a good tackle that would help Henry and Tannehill. But we're talking about we could have the same receiving core going into next season. I mean, yeah, we might get a second or third round receiver, but how much help was that going to actually give us, you know?
Yeah.
That's almost makes me want to kick something.
Yeah.
Because that's almost unacceptable.
Now, here's what would be the ideal situation that I know is not going to happen, and this is going to be my closing conversation on this video. I know this has kind of been just like a crazy video. It's just all over the place, but we really had to talk about what happened in free agency, but we also needed to do somewhat of a draft. Like prediction conversation, because again, we're not going to have any chances to make any more videos before the draft. So this is it for you boys. CJ Stroud, I think it's called the S2 test, and it's basically a test that they've been making people do since I think 2015, where it basically tests. It's not like an IQ test, but it tests your reaction time. It tests your quick decision making, your ability to stay calm, your ability to not get distracted, and it ranks you. And anything over 80 is supposed to be good, like really good. And CJ Stroud apparently just bombed it, not in a good way. Like, I think Bryce Young was like 98. Will Levis was like 92 or something, and though I want no part of Will Levis. Anthony Richardson was like 79, so anything over 80 was really good. So he's like right there on the spectrum. Hendon Hooker was like 46. So Hendon Hooker did not look good because there's been a lot of talk about Titans and Hendon Hooker. I don't like the idea of that either. But CJ Stroud was garbage awful at 18. But it's hard for me to put as much faith in that test as maybe I should when I sit there and I watch his highlights and the poise he has, the ball placement, the accuracy, the cannon when he needs it to be. Like, I'm just watching his tape being like, that guy's good. Like, when you watch his tape.
Sometimes I think we get too into some stuff that doesn't matter. Sometimes I'm like, put on the film and see that's what I care about.
I agree. And there's a growing sense, though, that the Texans are not going to be taking C.J. Stroud at number 2. For them, they want Bryce Young. But it's looking more and more likely that the Panthers are picking Bryce Young. So if that happens, a lot of people are really starting to say they may just pick Will Anderson, the best edge rusher in the draft, at number 2. If C.J. Stroud is available at number 3, Cardinals are picking number 3. Cardinals don't need a quarterback. I really am so tempted to move up to get him. Am I crazy?
Here's the thing. If there's a way to get CJ Stroud, you are not crazy. And I say go get a quarterback. This season's going to be not that good anyway. And we can, get ourselves a future quarterback. At least get something, hopefully getting us in the right direction. But I'll say this. I want no part of a quarterback if all we got is Richardson and Will Levis. But if there's a way to get CJ Stroud, the thing that you just set up, I don't think you're crazy. I say go for it. But I still think that might be a small stretch of what you're saying. I mean, I get everything you said, but I'm not going to believe the Texans are passing up on CJ Stroud until they pass up on CJ Stroud. That's
yeah,
just
I agree. I agree, but also apparently CJ Stroud's agent is the same agent for Deshaun Watson. So people are saying Texans aren't going to want to deal with that agent either.
Oh, there's that. So maybe there's that. But in my opinion, I say, and I hate to say this, but we should pick a tackle with pick 11. And honestly, I wouldn't be completely against, because I still wouldn't mind receiver. If we was at pick 11 and it came to us and someone wants to trade up to get some player, as long as it's not a receiver, and they want to trade up, maybe they want to get a quarterback they think that's about to be off the board, like a Hooker or Levis or whatever, I say we do that and stay in the first round, but go back a little bit, and then we can actually pick up one of these receivers. Like, oh, they're not a top 10 receiver. Maybe we could trade back to a 20, a 21, 22, pick up one of these good receivers, but we also get some extra picks because someone traded up to get the 11th pick. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we could get more, like, okay, get one of these receivers at pick 22 is not such a stretch than 11. You know what I mean? But then we give ourselves some extra picks because of the trade, if that makes sense. I would like that, but if nothing like that happens, then I say we stay at 11 and get a tackle.
So it would be nice if, like, Anthony Richardson or Will Levis falls to 11 and we don't want them. Hopefully we don't want them. Yeah. And somebody at, like, pick 19 wants them.
Yeah, that's the
going from 19 to 11, they'll have to give us some picks for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, because at this point, another issue we have is we don't have enough picks. We've only got 6 picks. I think it's I don't think it's the 4th round pick we don't have, which is way too high for my liking.
So exactly, if we can go back to 19-ish, get some extra picks, and then at 19, pick a receiver because there's gonna be someone left. Yeah. I'd be okay with that. That's, to me, actually a pretty good situation.
Yeah, I would be down with that. Yeah, I'd be down with that. But I will say this: if we do move up to go get C.J. Stroud, I don't want him sitting behind Tannehill. If we do that, I just want to say thank you, Tannehill, for everything you've done for us. You elevated the quarterback play to a level we haven't seen in Nashville in a really long time. We appreciate it, but you're 35, starting to get kind of injury prone. You're good. You're not great. You're costing us $36 million. We're going to either do a June 1st cut or we're going to trade you, and then that be that.
So you want to be a day one starter?
Yeah, I want to be a day one starter.
I mean, I'm okay with that. But real quick, though, are you trying to tell me you don't want Malik Willis to be our starter?
Funny thing you should say that is I can promise you this. Just listen. If we do that, if we pick C.J. Stroud, we trade away Tannehill or we cut him, Mike Vrabel for the first, 4 days of training camp's going to make Malik Willis the starter. He's like,
He will.
He's like, I don't care who you are. You're not going to be just given the starting job. You got to work for it. And Malik was here with us last year, and Malik's just going to be garbage, awful, and it, basically all the way up until 2 weeks until the season starts, he'll be saying Malik that there's no starter named or that Malik Willis is the starter or whatever. And then at the last second, all right, C.J. Stroud's the starting quarterback moving forward.
But everyone knows that's going to happen. I can see that. That sounds like Vrabel. That sounds like something to do.
As long as he doesn't do dumb stuff like, I think it was Freddie Kitchens. He might have been the head coach for the Browns when they drafted Baker Mayfield. But they drafted Baker Mayfield.
That was the coach before him. Hugh Jackman? Was that his name?
Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's
Freddie Kitchens was one and done in 2019. But so Hugh Jackson. Yeah, I think it's what his name is. But anyways, he made Tyrod Taylor the starter for 4 or 5 games, I think. I'm like, why did you draft Baker Mayfield first overall and then make him sit behind Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah, some coaches take that to the extreme of, we don't give you a first round pick, you don't naturally start, and I'm like. Anyway, yeah, I agree. But basically, you and I, we got ourselves all over the board right now in the first round. Trade up, trade back. Either way, I was talking. I was talking about trading back. You was talking about trading up. Basically, we don't want to be 11.
Pretty much. Well, let me put it this way: I don't want us to trade up unless we're going for C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't want Anthony Richardson. I don't want Will Levis.
I agree with that. I don't want them at all, to be honest. I don't want either of those two. If it gets to pick 11 and I hear that we pick one of those two quarterbacks, I'm going to be pretty upset.
Yeah.
Because, my honest opinion, even though I don't like Malik Willis, let's just keep Malik Willis and see what he does in his second year over those two quarterbacks. Malik Willis had a better college career than those two.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it was at Liberty, but still.
Yeah.
But, Anthony Richardson had 1 year, and he was either 6-7 or 7-6 as a starter. Neither of them's good. He only threw for 17 touchdowns. It's just he had one unsuccessful season as a quarterback, and because he could jump really high and jump really far and run really fast, now people are like, oh my gosh, he's going to be an amazing prospect.
Yeah, I know some people might throw something at me for saying this, but I would, if those two are the options, I say might as well stick with Malik Willis for this year, and then next year won't be bad enough to draft a quarterback. I mean, I really don't want Will Levis or Richardson at all.
I agree. I'm completely out. All right, so I guess we'll just end the video with prediction. Make a prediction of what you think we're going to do.
I think
what you officially want us to do, and then what you officially think we're going to do.
I kind of already said that earlier, but so I'm going to say. What I want us to trade back, get a receiver with a later pick, and have some extra picks. Like you said, we don't have that many picks to begin with. I think that would be a dream scenario. We would get a receiver, we would get extra picks. Well, that's what I want us to do. What I think would do is stay put.
And position, wide receiver, you say?
Wide receiver, yes. What I think we're going to do is stay put, get a tackle. That sounds like a Mike Vrabel thing to do. Not flashy. It's good, hard, run up the, up the butt football. Derrick Henry. This sounds like Mike Vrabel, blah, 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 blah. Kind of boring, which is what Mike Vrabel is. And that just sounds like him.
So yeah, for me, what I think we're gonna do, I'm gonna go with what you just said. I think we're gonna stick and pick Paris Johnson Jr., which I can't even be necessarily upset with that. What I want to happen is if CJ Stroud falls to 3, I want us to go get him. If he does just go 1 and 2, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, like people have been predicting for a long time. What do I want us to do? I think I would rather us just stick and pick Jackson Smith and Jigma, because having back-to-back first-round pick at wide receivers, like, we got to do something.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why if we get a tackle, I'm not going to be that upset. But at the same time, if we get a tackle, we're accepting the fact that receiving core is going to be basically the same as last year.
Assuming we address wide receiver in round 2, you're expecting Treylon Burks, who had 400 yards as a rookie and injured twice. You're expecting him and a second-round rookie to carry your passing game.
That's actually laughable and almost fileable. Not really with Carson because he's new, but remember Mike Vrabel. You know how bad a receiving core was. It was a joke in today's NFL how bad that receiving core is, and you basically do nothing to fix it. That's almost a fileable offense just off of that alone. In today's NFL, you got to.
One of the reasons he got fired. When I was just watching him walk out, like against the Texans, we had Nick Westbrook-Akina, Robert Woods, Chris Conley, Cody Hollister walking out there to play wide receiver. I'm like, who are these people?
Yeah.
Besides Robert Woods, who's washed, most of these other people no one's ever heard of.
Yeah. And we might be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. So I guess I'm going to officially lock it in. If we stick and pick, I want us to go ahead and go for Jackson Smith and Jigma. You watch the guy's tape. He's electric. Not last year. He missed most last year with injury, which is a problem. But the year before that, he had 1,600 receiving yards. So the guy's explosive. He's great with the ball in his hands. Smooth route runner. I would love to see it. So that's it. Got anything you want to say in closing?
No. One more thing. Yeah, so I guess yes. I said no. I was about to say something in closing. But
called lines.
I'm still slightly curious. I hate injury-prone people, and both of them just cannot stay healthy. But can Kyle Phillips and Racey McGrath, can one of the two give us something? Because those two is basically useless in the during the season. Which both of them, how much they was talked about in the like preseason training camp. Can one of those two turn out to be a good receiver? That would help us a lot if they could. You know what I mean? If one of those could be good, we got Treylon Burks, and then we get another receiver. Okay, now we'll talk about having some talent here, But can one of those two do something for us?
That'd be nice. Can't get anyone on the field.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Yep.
The only people we can get on the field is Nick Westbrook-Akina and Robert Woods. That's the problem, was they weren't very good. So
exactly.
So, I don't know. Guess we'll see how it goes. Next time you see from us, it'll be a draft reaction. I might send some draft night reactions the night of, where it's just like a 5-minute reaction to a pick.
Okay.
Like I might do something like that. We'll see. Maybe not. Probably won't. But guess that's all we got today. Thanks for tuning in to Titan Bros. We will see you who knows when, either next week, next month, or next year. So peace out.